This lesson is equations of lines. Most linear equations are written in slope-intercept form or standard form. Top half we talk about slope-intercept form, and we get to the bottom half we'll talk about standard form. But this will be the form that we most use in geometry, though. Your equation for slope-intercept form is y equals m times x plus b, where m is your slope and b represents the y-intercept. And that's where your graph crosses the y-axis. That is your y-intercept. The example says, given the graph, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Well, I need two pieces to be able to do that. I need what is the slope, and then I need what is the y-intercept. And then for my equation, I just have to fill in the pieces. Slope goes here, y-intercept goes here, and I pull these two things up from the graph. So first, the easiest one is the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses at 1, 2, 3, -3. Slope, doesn't matter which point you start at. I'm going to start at the bottom, work my way up, then over. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 2. Up 4, over 2, reduces to just 2. 2 is my slope. My y-intercept, -3. Y equals 2x minus 3. Number 2, two pieces I need to pull out. I need to pull out the slope. I need to pull out the y-intercept. The y-intercept is down 2. Slope, there's a point, down 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 4, over 5, equation. Y equals slope, -4/5 times x, and your y-intercept is -2. Y equals -4/5 x minus 2. Number 3, y-intercept is 0. Slope, down 1, over 1, 2, 3. Equation, y equals -1/3 x plus 0. You don't have to put the 0 on the end there, but for practice, it's okay. Number 4, y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4. Slope, up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3. That reduces to 1. Equation, y equals 1x plus 4. Standard form. Standard form equation is capital AX plus capital BY equals capital C. And then it goes on to say, because standard form does not give you the slope m, you must be able to convert them to slope-intercept form. So if we're given an equation that looks like this, we need to transform it to make it look like this. And let's do that down here. So basically, your goal to get it in slope-intercept form is to solve for y. So I got to get y all by itself and all these equations down here. And for time's sake, we're just going to work on 1/2. We'll do 7, 9, and 11. If you want to look at your notes for the key, and you can check those ones out on your own time. But for number 7, to get y by itself, I just have to subtract the x over there. So when I do that, I'll subtract the x over, and the 6 is still over there. That's it. That is slope-intercept form. My slope is -1, and my y-intercept is 6. Number 9, first step, I got to subtract the 2x over here. So I would have -4y equals -2x plus 28. Second step, I have to divide both sides by -4. Left-hand side, they cancel out. Just have the y. Now remember, the -4 has to go into both pieces. 28 gets divided by -4, and then the 2 also gets divided by -4. -2 over -4 reduces to positive half. Bring down the x. 28 divided by -4 is -7. That is your equation. Slope is 1/2. Y-intercept is -7. Number 11, first step, subtract the 6x over here. 8y equals -6x minus 16. Divide both sides by 8. Left-hand side, they cancel out. You bring down the y. And once again, just remember, both pieces get divided by 8. -6 over 8 reduces to -3/4. Bring down the x. -16 divided by 8 reduces to -2. Slope is -3/4. Y-intercept is 2. All right, talking about equations for vertical lines and horizontal lines. It says this, a vertical line is written in the form x equals a, where a represents the line's x-intercept. So if you check out this line right here, the x-intercept is -1. If you check it out, any ordered pair on this line, the x-coordinate will always be -1. -1, 0, -1, -1, -1, 2, -1, 1, -1, 2. So the equation for vertical lines is always x equals whatever its intercept is. In this case, it is -1. For horizontal lines, a horizontal line is written in the form y equals a, where a represents the line's y-intercept. Check out this line. The y-intercept for this graph is 1, 2, 3. And you notice the y-coordinate for any point on this line will be a 3. 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, -1, 3, -2, 3, -3, 3. So the equation is always y equals its y-intercept. In this case, it is 3. Vertical lines are x equals. Horizontal lines are y equals. For the next examples, we're going to concentrate once again only on the odds. You can look at the evens in your notes to see how those are worked out. Comparing equations. Determine whether the equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Very similar to what we did for the slope segment, last section. All right, to determine, we get to pull out what is the slope of each of the lines. If I look at number 1, the slope is a 5 on the first guy. On the second equation, the slope is also a 5. Remember, if they are the same, they are parallel. These are parallel slopes. Number 3, we must solve for y first on both of these. So, first step, subtract the x to the right. 2y equals -x plus 2. Divide both sides by 2. Cancel on the left. -1 over 2 doesn't reduce. Just bring down the -1 over 2x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So slope of this first equation is 1/2. First up over here, subtract the 6x to the right. Divide both sides by -3. Left-hand side, they cancel. Bring down the y. -6 over -3 is 2. 21 divided by negative 3 is negative 7. The slope of this guy is 2. These are negative reciprocals. These are perpendicular. Number 7, once again, we need to solve for y on this one over here. First step, subtract the 3x over. Negative y equals negative 3x plus 2. Divide both sides by negative 1, or you can multiply both sides by negative 1. Cancel on the left side. Negative 3 over negative 1 is positive 3. 2 over negative 1 is negative 2. So slope of this line is 3. Slope of that line is 1/3. They are not the same, and they are not negative reciprocals. These are neither. Number 9. Slope of the first guy is negative 1/4, but here we gotta do some work. Subtract the 2x to the right. Divide both sides by 8. Negative 2 over 8 reduces to negative 1/4. 56 over 8 is 7. This slope is negative 1/4. That slope was negative 1/4. They're the same. Parallel lines. Number 11. Whenever you have a y equals and an x equals, they will always be perpendicular. But graphically, let's see what that looks like. Y equals negative 7. So the y-intercept is negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. X equals 2. The x-intercept is 2. And if you look at the lines, they are perpendicular. So if you ever have a y equals and an x equals, they will always, always be perpendicular. This next page, for time's sake, I'm only going to concentrate on the middle columns. If you would like to check out your notes, they will show you how they're worked out for the outside columns on notes. But for right now, time's sake, we're just going to do the middle ones. Directions, I determine whether the lines in each box are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. And then if you guys wanted to, you could color them in, but we're just going to put what they are in the corners here. All right, for the middle column, that guy's slope is negative 2/5. That guy's slope is 2/5. They are not the same. They are not negative reciprocals. These are neither. This slope is negative 5. This guy, we got to do some work. First, we have to subtract the x to the right. Negative 5y equals negative x plus 30. Divide both sides by negative 5. They cancel there. Negative 1 over negative 5 is positive 1 over 5. Negative 30 divided by negative 5 is negative 6. 1/5 and negative 5, those are negative reciprocals. These are perpendicular. Both require some work. This first guy, I have to subtract the x over here. So when I do that, I'll have y equals negative x plus 7. So the slope up top is a negative 1. Down here, I need to subtract the x to the right. So negative y equals negative x plus 9. Divide both sides by negative 1. -1 over -1 is +1, or just x. 9 divided by -1 is -9. The slope you can't see here is a 1. A 1 and a -1 are negative reciprocals. These are perpendicular. First step on this top equation, I gotta subtract the 5x to the right. So I would have -10y equals -5x plus 20. Divide both sides by -10. -5 over -10 reduces to +1 over 2x. 20 over -10 is -2. This slope is a 1/2 up top. This slope is a -2. These are negative reciprocals. These are perpendicular. First up here, I have to subtract the 10x to the right. So 8y equals -10x plus 16. Divide both sides by 8. -10 over 8 reduces to -5/4. 16 over 8 reduces to 2. Up top slope, -5/4. Bottom, I just have to divide both sides by 5. 4 over 5x. -15 divided by 5 is -3. Bottom slope is 4/5. Top slope was -5/4. These are negative reciprocals. These are perpendicular. X equals 4 and x equals -6. If you're a little confused, let's take a look at a graph. If x equals 4, that's a vertical line at 4. X equals -6, that's a vertical line at -6. These lines will never cross. These guys are parallel. If you have 2x equals, or if you had 2y equals, they're always going to be parallel. As opposed to this guy, if you have x equals and a y equals, these are always perpendicular. That is the end of the lesson for equations of lines.